Someone changes sure to sure, and your stomach gets there before your thoughts do. The group chat goes still. The typing bubble appears, disappears, appears again, and now you are replaying your last message like evidence. You zoom in on the period like it has a secret file on you. From the outside, nothing happened. You were just holding your phone, face calm, thumb resting on the screen. But inside, your body has already stood up, not panicked, prepared. That is the strange part. You may not even look upset, because the reaction is too practiced to be loud. Your mind does not wait for the whole story when a tiny change has meant something before. A punctuation mark becomes a weather alert. A pause becomes a room going cold. You are not reading too much into nothing. You are reading fast because, at some point, fast kept you safer than relaxed. And if this is not drama or coldness, what trained your mind to move this fast? You walk into a family gathering, and your hand stays on the back of the chair for 1 extra second before you sit. Before anyone says anything, you have already checked the tight smile, the lowered voice in the kitchen, the person avoiding eye contact, whether the room feels safe enough to exhale. That is why your calm can look effortless from the outside, even when your mind is already deciding what to do if the room turns. Your mind became a prediction system, not because you wanted to be intense, because at some point missing tension had a cost. If the mood changed fast enough, you learned to notice it before it landed on you. So now, a normal room can feel like a dashboard. Tone, distance, volume. Who is pretending? Who is about to make everyone else manage them? Psychologist Mary Ainsworth from the University of Virginia found in 1978 that in the strange situation observations of 106 infants, children with inconsistent caregiving often clung, resisted comfort, and stayed hard to settle when the caregiver returned. That finding matters because unpredictable safety teaches attention to stay awake. Not dramatic, awake. So your hand stays on the chair. Your breath waits for permission. You did not start this calm. You trained it in rooms where relaxing too soon could make you miss the first sign of trouble. The conference table is covered in laptops, a half-empty coffee cup, and people talking over each other because the deadline just moved up. Someone says, "We're screwed." Someone else starts blaming the vendor. A manager keeps asking the same question, louder, as if volume can create a solution. And then you hear your own voice get flat. Not mean, flat. You ask who has the latest file, who can call the client, what can be sent in 10 minutes, and what can wait until noon. Your hands may even look steady. Your face gives nothing away. People start turning toward you because you are making the room usable again. From the outside, it looks like leadership. Inside, it may feel more like recognition. The panic in the room is not new information to your body. It has a shape you already know. Sharp voices, blame moving around the table, everyone needing someone to become practical before the mess gets bigger. So your system does what it learned to do. It cuts the emotional noise down and goes straight to function. That does not mean you are untouched. It means your body does not waste time being shocked by instability. Crisis competence can come from familiarity, not inner peace. That is why praise can feel strange afterward. Someone says, "You were so calm in there." And you smile because explaining it would take too long. You were not floating above the stress. You were working inside it with old tools. The coffee cup is still sitting there. The deadline is still real. And only after everyone leaves does your chest finally realize it was tight the whole time. And the same training that makes you useful in crisis can make you prepare for crisis before it even exists. Before the date even starts, your keys are already threaded through your fingers. You know where you parked. You know how much money's in your account. You know the excuse you can use if the vibe turns weird, and which person at the family dinner can turn one sentence into a 2-hour problem. To other people, this looks like being prepared. To your mind, it feels like making sure you never have to stand there with no way out. That is the part people miss. The plan is not always about the plan. Sometimes it is about not being trapped in someone else's mood, someone else's car, someone else's kitchen, someone else's version of what happened. You rehearse the line before you need it. You keep emergency money separate. You say, "I might leave early," before anyone has even done anything wrong. And someone may call that controlling. But inside, it feels more like preventing the moment where your face stays calm while your body realizes it has no exit. A backup plan can be an emotional exit strategy. Not because you expect disaster every second, because depending on the wrong person once taught your body to build a door before the wall closes in. So your keys stay in your hand a little too long. Your shoulders do not fully drop. And even when the night is going fine, some part of you is still checking whether fine can change. And once your mind gets this good at protecting you from danger, it often gets just as good at noticing pain in other people before they ever say it out loud. A friend texts, "I'm good, LOL," and the LOL lands wrong. Not the words, the timing. The way it shows up after a sentence that did not need softening. You stare at it for half a second longer than someone else would. Then your mind is already building the quiet version of what they did not say. Maybe they are tired. Maybe they are embarrassed. Maybe they are trying not to be a burden. And before they ask for anything, you are already becoming useful. You send the safe joke. You offer the small favor. You make it easier for them to stay covered. This can look like empathy from the outside, and sometimes it is. But there is another layer. You learned pain has tiny tells, a forced laugh, a too fast "I'm good." A person suddenly acting easier than they feel. When you grew up around moods that changed the whole room. You learned to read the edit before the story. So now, when someone hides hurt, your body recognizes the hiding. You do not just hear the sentence, you hear what it cost them to make it sound casual. That is why you can be tender in ways people do not even notice. You remember the follow-up. You check in without making it weird. You become the person who knows where the emotional bruises are. But the hard part is this. Helping can become a place to disappear. If you are fixing the mood, no one has to ask what yours is. If you are steady for them, you never have to explain why your own chest feels tight. Being useful keeps you close enough to matter, but far enough not to be fully seen. You care, but being needed can become safer than being known. And that is where calm starts to blur with something less peaceful. In the middle of a tense conversation, you hear yourself say, "I'm fine," before your chest has even caught up. The other person relaxes because you made the room easier, but your jaw stays tight. Your mind is still calculating what would happen if you told the truth. Later, in the bathroom mirror, you look composed enough to pass. Your face says handled. Your body says not finished. And the question becomes what it cost you to keep becoming the easy one. This is where the story gets more complicated, because calm is not always the same thing as peace. Sometimes calm means you trust yourself. You can feel the heat rise, stay honest, and still not punish anyone with it. That kind of calm has room inside it. But sometimes calm means you left yourself behind before anyone could be upset with you. You edited the answer. You made the needs smaller. You became agreeable before you even knew what you felt. The same behavior can come from safety or from fear. That is why "I'm fine" can be a boundary in one mouth and a disappearance in another. A real boundary says, "I'm not discussing this right now," and still lets you exist. Avoidance says, "Nothing is wrong," while your jaw is doing all the telling. Empathy can notice someone else's discomfort without handing over your whole nervous system. But people-pleasing starts negotiating your truth down before it reaches your tongue. And the world often rewards the version of you that interrupts the least. They call you mature. They call you chill. They say you are easy to talk to, when what they may mean is that your needs do not disturb the room. So you stand at the sink, water running, jaw still locked, trying to believe the sentence you just gave away. You get home after a normal day and leave dinner sitting on the counter longer than you mean to. Your shoes are off. The room is quiet. Nothing is wrong. And still, your shoulders keep holding the day like it might start again. You tell yourself to eat. You stand there instead, looking at the plate, feeling how tired your body is from acting available, reasonable, calm, and easy to understand. This is the grief people rarely name, not the dramatic kind, the quiet kind that shows up when peace finally arrives and your body does not know how to use it. You may think you miss some innocent version of yourself, the person who trusted faster, the person who laughed without checking the room afterward, the person who could sit down and just be there. But maybe that is not exactly it. Maybe what hurts is realizing how much of your life has required a plan. How to sound, how much to share, where to stand, when to leave, who gets the real answer, and who gets the edited one. When every room has needed a strategy, even rest can feel like another room to manage. So dinner stays untouched, the quiet stays quiet, and your body waits for permission from a danger that is not even there. Maybe you do not miss being naive. Maybe you miss not needing a strategy for every room. And that is why the next question is not how to become louder, but what would let you finally arrive. Your thumb pauses over the comment box, because one word feels safer than explaining your whole life. You do not want to write the backstory. You do not want strangers asking follow-up questions. You just want to leave a tiny mark where the quiet part can stand. You did not start this calm. Your mind learned that being loud about pain was not always safe, so it made your pain smaller, cleaner, easier to carry in public. That does not make you cold. It means your calm has a history. You are not hard to reach. You are waiting to feel safe enough to arrive. And maybe one word is all that feels honest today. If this named something you usually keep quiet, leave one word in the comments. Calm.